Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Pixel Pickers podcast. I am Josh, and I am joined again by Jarvis. Say hello, Jarvis.
Hello, Jarvis.
And there's a lot of new games coming out lately, and we've decided we're not going to really talk about anything new. We've both been playing some, for me, old games, and for Jarvis, about a 4 or 5 month old game, month old game.
Uh, 1 month for PlayStation. But yeah, like 6 months for global release.
Right. So, what game have you been playing, Jarvis?
I've been playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. As just stated, recently dropped on the PlayStation April 17th. This is MachineGames' attempt at making a dope first-person Indiana Jones game, and it may or may not be a success in my eyes. What game did you play? Just to give kind of a peek of what we're going to be talking about.
So, I played two different samurai games. One of
Okay,
them's a
okay.
indie PS1 inspired horror game, and the other is a remaster that recently came out. The indie horror game is called Labyrinth of the Demon King,
Okay.
and then the remaster is Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny.
Nice. Favorite Onimusha game. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Indiana Jones first. I am not too far in. I'm maybe like 3 or 4 hours, but honestly, that's enough to give a really good impression of the game. And that is that, like, if you take out all of the Indiana Jones, it's just a really tight version of their stealth Wolfenstein. Machine Games came out with those Wolfenstein games in what 2012?
2015 for the first one for New Order, and
Yeah,
then the
2014 and then 15, 17,
yeah,
19.
yeah, if you include the DLCs of like Old Blood, and then
Yeah, those are
whatever,
the 19s.
yeah, Young Bloods, I think followed up.
Yep,
The second game,
and
which
then
is
Cyber
escaping me.
Pilot.
Oh yeah, the VR game that I don't think
Yep.
I know anyone who played.
Yeah, I definitely don't. But yeah, especially in the Old Blood, there was a large focus on hand-to-hand combat and stealth sequences, and that is the basis of combat here. Uh, you know, completely again skinned of all Indiana Jonesness. It is a really tight game. Stealth sequences are very fun. I'm playing on I think it's just called hard. But just because I want a little more enemy awareness and the fighting is really responsive, so I feel like hard is kind of where it feels nice. It kind of reminds me of like honestly Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, just because of the
Ooh,
the way I'm using. But it also reminds me of the
Wolfenstein.
aforementioned Wolfenstein games, just in the way the stealth feels. It's and the stamina use and
The
the hand-to-hand
Nazis.
combat. Yeah, the Nazis. Yep,
Yeah.
they're all over. Actually, there haven't been any Nazis in this so far, but there have been fascists of a Italo disco variety. So that's a little peek into the game, and I'll talk about the Indiana Jonesness, like the story stuff about it, right now. So, uh, this is so far it's kind of focused on a surprise appearance from Tony Todd stealing a weird cat mummy from Indiana Jones's what do you call it?
His like
Like
collection, his like he
yeah,
works
the
at a museum,
collection.
doesn't he?
He
Or
works at a university,
that's
and
what it
then the
is.
university has a collection.
That's
But
what it
yeah, from
is.
the collection. So yeah, Tony Todd comes in as a silent giant, kind of a jump scare when he came in, and that was awesome. Really happy to see
Is
him.
it face scan
Ju-
Tony Todd, or is it just the
no, I'm
voice?
pretty sure he I mean
Does it look
it's
like Tony Todd?
it absolutely looks like Tony
Okay,
Todd. Well, he hasn't said anything. So that's how I know it's, Tony Todd. And then I looking it up, he plays this giant man. Uh, you know, certain events lead Indy going off to the Vatican to, investigate the clues of where this giant man came from. And so far the game really does feel like an Indiana Jones film stretched out to I would say like 5 times slower. So you have that slow or that really quick introduction, action sequence, all of that. And, what is maybe 15 minutes in the movie is 45 minutes here. So you're really stretching everything out to 3 to 5 times the length of it all. And right now, that is a very good feel for this game. I think, when we had our genre discussion, I brought up adventure as a genre, and this is absolutely an adventure game. There's a lot of like map reading. There's a big map of the US that has, Indy's flight path across it. The music and cinematic effects of the game just reek of love for obviously like John Williams, Steven Spielberg, and like the entire kind of filmmaking output of the 70s of American film. It's really great. It's very cool. They have a lot of different options for like kind of tinting and cinematizing your cinematicism,
There you go, going for a
making more
SAT,
cinematic.
making it more cinematic. Oh, like filters and stuff you could throw on it.
No, yeah, but also putting in like the cinematic letterbox 16:9 letterboxing, and it looks really good
Oh,
that way. And the game like just looks gorgeous. I know I'm on a just a regular PS5, so I am not even scratching the relative technical limits of the game, and it looks great. Now, the music's great. There's nothing, exceptional in it, nothing really standing out outside of it sounds like a really good John Williams score. It's not John Williams. I think it's just like reinterpreting John Williams and like, kind of remixing it. It's very good though. But Troy Baker is a standout as Harrison Ford. He does
as
the
Harrison
voice and the
Ford.
motion capture. Yep. Yeah. He is Harrison Ford. Like, it's not, he's not playing the character of Indiana Jones. It's not a reinterpretation. He is playing Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I think he
And
came up on, like, a stage or something last year, maybe it was the Game Awards or something, and he
yeah.
did the Harrison Ford voice while next to Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford's
Yeah,
like, "I
yeah.
sound nothing like that," and I was like, "Oh, no, he nailed you, he got you there."
Oh, dog. Yeah, and I remember, in a separate obviously they're doing a bit there. In a separate interview, Harrison Ford was like talking about Troy Baker's performance. He said, "Obviously you don't need AI, you don't need to spend all of this money, you just need to pay people with skill."
Yeah, you just need
Like
Troy
that's all it
Baker.
comes down to. Yeah.
He's
Um
the new Nolan North of being in every video game.
yeah. But I mean, Nolan's still around.
Oh, yeah, but not to the effect that he was. I remember every game on, like, the PS3 after Uncharted 2 came out, you heard Nolan North somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's getting it's like him, Matthew Mercer, and Troy Baker. I hear them immediately. Troy Baker less
Yeah.
so because he is really good at modulating his voice, like, where it's almost scary.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't really pick. He does, obviously I can tell occasionally that it's not, Harrison Ford as Indy. But for the most part, there it never sounds like Troy Baker. It just sounds like, Harrison came to the set a little sick today. That's all.
So,
But yeah.
because this is a game I was it's on Game Pass and I could play it, my weekly shill for Game Pass, and I never got around to it, so I did not grow up with Indiana Jones films. I actually saw my first Indiana Jones film about 2 years ago on Christmas,
Oh wow.
and, I thought it was fine for what it was. It was a fun '80s romp, I can tell, like, wow, this inspired a lot of things, but I've
Yeah.
seen those things that's inspired, so, like, the original has less of not appeal, but it doesn't feel as fresh for me, and granted, it's like a 45-year-old movie? 40-year-old movie?
Yeah, I don't know, but I would disagree.
Like,
Just in terms of I just love the way Spielberg the his cinematography. Like
yeah,
I
like
think it's gorgeous, and even when someone has done the action sequence better, people don't match the overall filminess of, the original, and Last Crusade and certain parts of Temple of Doom.
That's fair. And granted, I did watch this at my in-laws' house, and they still have cable, so I watched it on cable, and it had
Yeah.
commercials, so it wasn't the most like I wanna
Do
say
you even
oppor
know which one it was?
yeah, does it have a special edition kinda like Star Wars does and ET does?
No, I mean which Indiana
It
Jones movie it was.
was the first one because they did the face melting. Spoiler.
Okay, yeah,
But
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
yeah, that one. Yeah, sorry. I think there's only 5 movies now, right? They just had one come out a couple
Yeah,
years ago? Yeah, so if
yeah,
someone
kind
who
of original trilogy and then two re-sequels.
someone who doesn't have, like, nostalgia or really any care about Indiana Jones, like, is
Then
could I
it
still
comes
fu
down to it comes down to the beginning of the conversation, which is stripping it of Indiana Jones. What you have is a very fun stealth game set in the 1930s with kind of, a weird mythical vibe. Uh that's always what has drawn me to Indiana Jones, and they do it in Uncharted as well, which is they exist in these kind of like y- rubber band realities where it's kind of super serious and it seems just like our world. Oh, but there's a Yeti coming at us,
yeah, it's
and
that very Pulp
the
Fiction-y stuff.
yeah, exactly. Like it just flexes and bends to the reality that they make. And that's what I love about these sort of like specific the Indiana Jones pulpy brand that Uncharted has picked up from there. Um and I would love to see a brand new IP doing something with that. But right now, seeing an old beloved IP crossing over and doing that on a new platform, like a new medium, rather, is really cool. But yeah, I think stripped of all of its Indiana Jonesness, it is a very fun stealth investigation game. Like just even the very small environmental puzzles of like the for example, the first one you're introduced to in the game is trying to figure out which idol that Tony Todd may have stolen. So you have all of these display cases with a couple of pictures and a picture of the flag, and then the rest of the idols all just splayed out on the floor. And when you pick it up, Indiana or Marcus says something about, oh, it's blah 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 from Egypt. So then you go and look over, and it's not like a big like. There's not a little diamond on the idol, and then you take it over, and it shows you exactly where to go to. It's kind of an unguided gameplay of investigation. So you go over and you're like, oh, that's the Egyptian flag, and this is obviously the same sort of thing. And then you place all five of them and you figure out, oh, he stole a cat mummy. Weird. But
Okay,
yeah, I think it's really fun.
so not to be, like, derivative of this, but, like, it very much reminds me of, like, when you're playing the Uncharted games and Nate has to solve a
Yeah.
puzzle, you have your little journal where he's, like, written down, like, what he's seen and, like, the clues basically for it. So
Yeah.
it's kinda like that.
Well, even less of that because it is literally just all talking and environmentals.
Okay.
So you're not even like looking at a journal.
So
At least at the point that I've been going through.
this game, different from Uncharted in the fact that it's all first person. Do you think
Yeah,
does
yeah.
except for,
So
like, when you
there are
web swing
some
not web swing, sorry, Spider-Man on the brain. Whip swing.
yeah, when you're doing big environmental moves, it goes to a third person perspective, which is really nice. Kind of avoids the uncanny effect or even like the motion sickness effect of a mirror's edge or something like that.
Okay. Do you feel like the first person really, like, adds anything to this? Because, like, honestly, like, you have the likeness of Harrison Ford, it's Indiana Jones, a very successful IP,
Yeah,
don't
I
I
think
feel
it
like
makes
it'd
it
be
feel very neat about having the stealth sequences set up in kind of first person perspective, kind of limiting you and your feelings. I rather like that. it makes it a lot more difficult than, in a game where you can a third person perspective of a stealth game where you can kind of back out your camera and see, oh, he can see me in this way or something like that. I
So
think
it's
it works really well for the game overall, and then for the feeling of it, like just cracking the whip and figuring out puzzles in a very tactile way. Like the game has a lot of very tactile, go up to the door, turn the knob, turn the key type movements, like for everything. And that makes you feel like Indiana Jones. And I think that's something that in MachineGames has always been trying to do. They want you to feel like that character, whether it's BJ Blazkowicz or Indiana Jones. And here, I think the interpretation is spot on and really cool.
so you call it's more of a stealth game, right?
Yeah, stealth puzzle game and first person brawler actually. A lot of the fighting
A lot of
is
fisticuffs.
first person. Yeah.
So would you like liken this more to like a like less of a Wolfenstein, maybe more like a Dishonored without the powers? Let's say like a thief game almost, but like you can get into
Well, I the
fights.
first two Wolfensteins are fully stealth games.
It depends on how you play it.
But
They can
yes,
be.
but they are very much it's just like, Metal Gear Solid is not necessarily a stealth game, but it is designed easiest as a stealth game. Just like Dishonored is designed easiest as a stealth game, but you can go full, psycho, spinning blades out there and
I'm
killing everybody.
I'm just saying if I can
Um
dual wield shotguns in your video game, I don't think it's a stealth first video game. But I do
um
play all those games stealthy because my brain was corrupted as a child playing Metal Gear.
well, the Old Blood specifically, I think you have to do
Yeah, Old
stealthy
Blood, you
the whole
have
time.
to be not the whole time,
Yeah.
but there are, like, very big sections where it's like, "Hey, you can't shoot these
Yes.
guys," type action.
Yeah, all they have, like, for non-stealth segments in Old Blood, I just recently played through them again, uh, for Old Blood is kind of where it's like, "Oh, defend this or defend that." It's not really like, Wolfenstein 2, where you just become a, machine, a doomslayer, mowing down Nazis.
So if I was a big fan, like, I love the first 2 Wolfenstein games. I didn't play Youngbloods, but, like, uh, New Order, uh, Old Blood, and the 3rd one, I keep forgetting the 2nd one, I keep forgetting the name of. Man,
New
what
Order, Old Blood, and,
New Colossus.
yeah, New
God,
Colossus,
got
because
there.
it's the Nazi America.
Yeah, 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 that's what it was. Man, 'cause
Fun
I
stuff.
love those games. I think they're all great. 2 has some, like, level design problems, but I think those are all, like, fantastic, awesome games. So if I
Yeah,
love those,
absolutely.
is Indiana Jones an easy recommend?
Yeah, especially for someone that has Game Pass. Like, easy recommend. But I
But then
also
I
think
gotta
it's an
go
easy
click the
recommend at its
download
current
button.
sale price right now for $50.
Oh, $50, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
I like this a lot of games not being 60 lately. I know this one's on sale and it's probably 70 regular.
Yes, it is.
But there's been a lot of games coming out lately where it's like, yeah, it's only like $40. It's only like $30. Like Rematch. Rematch, the beta
Yeah.
ended yesterday, the open beta. So that was real fun to jump back into again. But that game's coming out at like $30. And I'm like, this could have
Well, yeah,
easily been a full
but
like a $60 game with a little bit more.
I don't think so. I I know you really enjoy it, but it's a little unpolished for a $60 release.
Eh.
It looks a little kooky. Um,
So
it looks free to play.
that was a problem I noticed with this beta. In the earlier playtests, like this beta had a lot more connection issues and stuff and weird animation glitches. The f
Oh, I'm just talking about the overall design of the game.
Oh, I mean, it looks like they just
Yeah.
kind of took the Sifu, like, graphics model and just
Yeah.
put put
Which
them in jerseys.
which again looks very good for, a $30-$40 game, which is what Shifu also released at.
Man, Shifu's such a good game, though.
Yeah, it is. But I think they are punching directly in their weight class of saying, "Hey, this is where we're shooting." I don't know how the the microtransaction side of it will work out for them. But I wish them the best because I hope this gives me more single player adventures from them
Oh,
if
yeah.
they succeed on the rematch
I
side.
mean, I was gonna buy whatever their next game after Shifu just on principle because I thought that game was so
Well,
good.
yes. Well, I but what I'm hoping for is that this is very successful so that it gets them publishing success. So they can team up with someone and get more funding for something bigger. So,
Y
that's what I want.
yeah,
I
but
want their ability to be increased because whatever their next single player thing is going to be great.
oh, it's gonna be awesome, and this game is going to fund it. I know because 'cause I'll be giving them money every season to play it. So Wolfenstein not correction, not Wolfenstein. Indiana Jones and the Golden
Indiana
Circle,
Jones.
right? Golden Circle? Do you
Yes.
know what the Golden Circle is
No,
yet?
the Great
The
Circle.
Great
The
Circle,
Great
the
Circle.
Golden Compass, the Great Compass,
Yeah.
something like that. Do you know what the Great Circle is yet?
Nope.
Is that a
Yeah, I
spoiler?
actually haven't gotten there.
Okay.
Uh, haven't gotten there.
I think because that
Yeah, like I said, it is very stretched out. It's nice. I like it.
I might need to check it out because I have been so one of the games that never clicked with me that really should have was the first Dishonored game. Like,
Oh,
that seems like right up my alley, right? And I for
yeah.
some reason, it just never clicked, and I went back a couple weeks ago and started playing again, and I've gotten maybe, like, 5 or 6 missions in, like, 5 or 6 assassinations in. I'm trying to do, like, a full, like, pacifist run because that's how I like to play my games, like a little baby.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on right now, but it's really clicking for me right now. So, I should definitely
Nice.
I think I need to definitely get into the Indiana Jones game after that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been playing, like I said, 2 samurai games. Do you wanna hear about the new game or the old game first? The new game that looks like an old game or the old game that doesn't look like as old game as it is?
I want to hear about the new game that looks like an old game.
New game that looks like an old game, okay. So I was just randomly on Steam, and I saw this game for, like a demo for a game called Labyrinth of the Demon King, and I was like, "Whatever, I'll click on it. I could do an indie game right now." And I looked at it, I'm like, "Okay, it's like a first person, PS1 style of graphics." Granted, it looks better than a PS1 game could look, but, like, the way things are modeled and how textures look, you're like, "Ah, very inspired by, like, Silent Hill, like,
Yeah.
Siren era, like, graphics." And I was like, "Whatever, I'll play the demo." So, it is effectively a, like, first person Onimusha game. But it
So
but
weird.
it doesn't really, like, play as well as, like, an Onimusha game, though. It feels like a PS1 game even while you're playing it, like, for better or for worse. And
Yeah.
it's, I played through the demo, I was like, "This is great, I'm buying it." I didn't read the fine print, the save from the demo does not transfer over. So
Oh, come
but
on.
it's also a survival horror game, so once you know what you're doing, what took me 2 hours to accomplish took me 15 minutes the second time around.
No, that's good.
So, yeah, it's a first person game where you're just going to these towers, and it's, like, very, like, feudal Japan, like, everything's, like, heavily fogged and overcast skies, and it has that otherworldly feeling to it, like, that PS1 games can only accomplish.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't very scared by it, but I watch a lot of horror movies, play a lot of horror games, so, mileage may vary. It has great aesthetic and, like, vibes, and the, combat is okay, like, you can, normal swing your sword, you can heavy swing it, and
Yeah.
then you can parry, but the game is heavily balanced around you need to parry then attack, otherwise you're just going to get pretty much melted by enemies, and you just explore these areas, take out the boss of each tower to collect an orb or a ring or whatever it was, I can't even remember, until you
Yeah.
can fight the demon king. And for like 15 bucks, it was really a great time. I really enjoyed it. Like you had like some upgrade mechanics. Like, there's a lot of mechanics in the game. I'm like, man, I wish they just had a little bit more time or budget because like I can see where they wanted to go with these things, but they just didn't have the time to do it. Like all in all, this game took me like 4 hours to beat.
Dang, okay.
Right, and, for 15 bucks, I would say it was worth the money just
Yeah,
for the
it's
experience of it.
it's not bad.
'Cause, but, your mileage may vary.
4 hours that you enjoy, is definitely worth $15.
Yeah, there's just, like, some parts I'm like, "Man, if they just fix this, add a little bit here," I'm like, "This could've been a great game."
Yeah,
Very fun time, highly recommend if you just, like, are itching for, like, a survival horror game, but you don't wanna sit there and, you know, for a long time stuck on hard puzzles, and you just want that cool PS1 vibe. Uh, Super fun, really enjoyed it.
that's awesome. And, supporting them gets it more likely that you'll get that more well-polished release you're looking for next.
Yeah, and if just so I can say the name one more time, it's called Labyrinth of the Demon King. That way, I'll go wishlist it on Steam, go add it. I don't know if it's on console or not. It seemed
I didn't see it just in my precursory look when I was, looking for notes.
it's only been out for like 2 weeks or so by the time we're recording this, so it might be something you're doing because you have to pay licensing fees to get these things on consoles. It's not just a
Yeah,
save
yeah,
as PS5, type thing.
right.
So maybe they'll get there after they've, worked out some of the kinks or something, or if they make enough money to. But the other game I've been playing,
Sure.
also a samurai game, recently Capcom remastered Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny.
Yes.
And Jarvis, they did a real good job. Like
Good.
the sound, like they got a whole soundtracks there because that was a problem with the last remaster of Onimusha. They couldn't have the soundtrack because it turns out the guy who made it plagiarized it all, and he pretended to be
No.
yeah he this is like a big thing. He like pretended to either be deaf or blind. I can't remember, and then
Oh, boy.
plagiarized like a bunch of music.
Oh, boy.
So yeah, that's a not good time. But
Good
this
job, bro.
But, this game, like, they add some quality of life features. The best one, you can skip cutscenes. So, like, if you die on a
Fucking
boss,
wild whenever you weren't able to do that.
that means dude, that was, like, a thing, not skipping cutscenes. U
I
up
know.
into the PS3 era, like, there were games where
I
you
know.
couldn't skip cutscenes.
There are still some games now that do it. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, especially if I'm going through, like, a second playthrough, like, man, nothing
Yeah.
makes me wanna not play Final Fantasy X anymore than getting to that Seymour fight and dying and watching a 15-minute cutscene every time. Like, that's why I didn't beat that game as a child because I was like, "I'm not watching this cutscene again.
I'm done.
I'm done." Uh, but y
Okay.
yeah, Samurai, Onimusha 2. It's the sequel to the first one. If you haven't heard the Onimusha series, well, congratulations, there's a new game coming out probably next year, and I'm so excited. You follow Jubei as she
Hmm.
goes to fight Nobunaga eventually. Uh, some of this game
With
is
this being a remaster, it's all the same voice
all
acting,
the same
right?
voice
Okay.
acting and stuff like
Good, good.
that, but all the cutscenes and it sounds like the audio, it sounds like it's all been somehow like the audio sounds better somehow. I don't know like how they
Oh,
prettied
yeah. I
that
mean,
up.
there's a lot of ways they can crisp it up.
Yeah, it sounds good, like, but really what I wanna get to is, man, this game looks pretty for a PS2 game. So, it's a PS4 game, right? They don't have a PS5 version. Uh, but so it's running 1080p, it's gorgeous. It's a pre-rendered background game, right? But in Onimusha 2, they used videos instead of just static images. So, like, seeing, like,
Yeah.
leaves move and stuff. That all being up-res, some of the scenes in this game, you're like, "Wow, this looks fantastic." And, like, the only thing that can give it away for not being, like, maybe not like a indie game or something is, like, some of the models look a little PS2-y up-res,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but, like, there's so much, like, love and care, like, put into this, remaster. I've already beat it once. I'm, like, a third of the way through my second playthrough on the hard mode. Just
Nice.
little great quality of life features like, you can swap your weapons without going to a menu now. They add that in their last
Oh
Onimusha,
my
but
god, that's so nice.
yeah, but now you can just do it. You can swap between ranged and all your different magic weapons. It's man. Onimusha is so good. I'm so happy Capcom has woken back up and listened to me that we need an Onimusha game. I've been beating that drum. Ooh. I mean, I think every E3, like during the like PS3 era into the PS4 era, like I would be on like forums a lot, like Game FAQs and GameSpot forums, and the
Yeah.
NeoGAF. They're like, "Yeah, what do you think's gonna happen at this E3 for Sony?" I'm like, "Capcom's
Onimusha!
Capcom's gonna bring back Onimusha."
Jean Reno standing behind you like, "Yes, they are."
Man, if they can remaster 3 with
Yeah, that would be
genre
so
no,
sick.
because look, 2 might be your favorite, 3 is definitively the most fun. That game
It's the most fun.
that game
Yeah, I
fucking
think
rips.
2 is absolutely the best, like, just in terms of all of its characters, story, and overall, just everything about it. But 3 has the singular best moments of any Onimusha game. Easy.
It feels so good to play, like, I'm lucky I have that game on
Yeah,
Steam somehow before they delisted it, so I can still play that and, like, up-resed a little bit, as much as my computer will do with
nice.
compatibility modes for that old game.
Yeah,
But I would love for that game to get remastered, and then we remaster Onimusha: Dawn of Dreams, which is the last one
yeah,
to ever come out, which is a really cool, good action game, not a good.
just a good Onimusha game.
Huh?
Just not a good Onimusha game.
Yeah, because it takes away, like, all, like, the puzzle elements, and it's very streamlined into linear action almost.
Yeah,
But you get to play as, like,
exactly.
5 different characters, and I was obsessed with
Exactly.
one of the dudes when I was a kid. His name was Raphael. I think he's, like, an Italian dude, and he's
He was.
uber Catholic, and he doesn't fight with a sword or a spear or anything, he only uses fists, but, like, his gauntlets were all named after archangels, and when I was, like, 10, that was
So
the
good.
coolest shit ever.
So good.
So, yeah, and that game is by the way, that game is extremely rare. Like, I don't think you can get it for less than $120, $130, like, loose, I'm pretty
Wild.
and it doesn't run
Wild the
well
gold that I could be sitting on if I just didn't sell my games to or trade my games to GameStop.
same, but we were poor and we wanted new games.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how it went. I would be rich. Uh, but, like, because that game doesn't run well in emulation either. So, like, a
Yeah, it
remaster
doesn't
of
surprise me.
yeah, those pre-rendered games have a little bit of a problem with it,
Mhm.
but, man, that would be
It's
the
such a
sickest.
complex library for them to be going through constantly, and to replicate that in, ROM form is weird, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. So, hopefully, we'll get more remasters to the quality of this. I mean, Capcom, they usually do the
Yeah.
best with remasters, I think, out of anyone in the business.
I think they do the best of remasters and remakes. I think kinda definitively at this point.
I mean, they have more hits for remakes, I think
Yeah.
the only other, like, remake I can think off, like, just the dome that could, like, live up to, like, that RE2, RE4 remake, RE1 remake is, like, maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth?
Yeah. I think some people could also say the Bloober Team stuff. So
Your Shadow of
uh
the Colossus,
yeah,
Demon Souls.
Silent Hill 2. Yeah. Like
Oh,
all
no,
of
sorry,
those
I
are
was I
pretty
was I
pretty
was
solid
I
hits.
was thinking that wasn't Bloober Team that did what I said. They did Silent Hill 2, you're correct.
Yeah.
Who am I
Wait,
thinking?
but I thought they did Demon Souls.
No,
Maybe that's Blue Team or something.
it's the same they got bought out by Sony.
Blue, Blue Point.
Blue Point,
We've
yeah.
had this
We
discussion. I'm
have
positive.
yeah, you thought they were, absorbed into Team Asobi. They just been bought and just haven't released anything since they've been bought, which is crazy.
Well, yeah, and then there was just one article out there that said that they were working with Team Asobi, but they just, I don't know. They got a canceled live service game of January this year, so presumably they're now working on something else. And
Man,
it wouldn't surprise me, given Astrobot's success, if they got a few more resources.
oh, man, Astrobot was so good. But
It was so
But I
good.
can't other than, like yeah, maybe those, I can't think of any remakes that kinda stand up to, like just the pure quality that RE2 and RE4 were for just, like,
Yeah,
recently, not, like, of all
yeah.
time. Uh,
Yeah, I think you're right. I think 7 is about the only one, and that's not even that is a remake in the remakiest sense,
that's the
you
most
know?
meta of remakes, like, RE2 remake, it
Yeah.
is a remake, and it's, it tells the same story just in a different way. RE7 does
Yeah.
not tell it tells a similar story, it is not the
Yeah.
same story.
Nope, not at all.
Uh, eh,
Especially by the time you get to,
Rebirth, or just the end of
Rebirth.
or just the end of Remake. The end of
Yeah.
Remake, I remember because I slept on the first one for a minute because I didn't play it on PS4, and I got it when Intergrade came out on PS5, and I remember playing through, I'm like, "Yes, they're just really just stretched out the Midgar section," and then I got to the end, and I think I started live texting you my fucking reactions
Yeah.
because I was losing my mind at the end of that
Yeah, it's
game.
pretty wild to get there, and, I've really enjoyed, those games so far.
And I still need to beat Rebirth.
Ah, very good
I'm on
time.
the last
Very good final fight.
I think I got to the area where it, like, opens up for the final time. Like, where you
Nice.
collect, your final party member who you can't play as. I don't wanna spoil it in case somebody doesn't know for some reason.
I think it's like yeah, it's Vincent Valentine, and it can't possibly be a spoiler for a remake of a game older than most anyone listening to this podcast.
I mean, what, 97, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was 3 when that game came out.
yeah, exactly. I was only 6, so
Yeah, so once you get Vincent and, like, I've been doing all the side stuff because I have a checkbox type brain where, like, you give me a thing, I
yeah,
will go do it.
and
And
it is fun side stuff for the most part,
it
and it's
is.
also just fun to play in that
And
world.
I just, I love all the characters. I love all the
Yeah,
character moments. Like, Yuffie is goated
yep.
in this game. They turned, like, the most
Yeah.
nothing character from Final Fantasy VII and made her goated. I
Yeah,
love her.
her literal character in original Final Fantasy VII was I'm Chinese but not.
Yeah,
Like it's so fucking
but
weird.
now she's like
It's like I'm Chinese but I'm also a ninja, and it's like I don't understand. This is from a Japanese studio.
but but
Whatever.
now she's, like, so integral to the plot. Man,
Yeah, and she's so much fun. And Red 13 on the boat dressed as a soldier is the highlight of that game for me.
that game feels like a fever dream. Like, like,
It
when you
absolutely
play
is.
games, like, this doesn't feel real. A lot of that
Yeah.
game felt not real. Like, this is, like, what you imagine games as sometimes, but, like, this is people don't do this.
It's like the perfected version of a Kingdom Hearts game.
It it
Like a
it
game that
is,
just feels ridiculous, but also like engrossing and fun.
and, the combat is very much like a derivative. I don't wanna say derivative, but very
No, it
similar.
is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like
it's same director. Like it's no surprise.
yeah, it feels like, oh, man, like, if they just took the Rebirth combat system, added in the, like, cool flashy shit from Kingdom Hearts 2, and that was just Kingdom Hearts 4, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need
Yeah,
anything
and
crazy.
it wouldn't be surprising at this point given kind of the direction towards the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. Not even the end, but the one of the DLCs, and then the Yozora the
Trailer.
the world ends with you bit that
Yeah,
they put in there.
man. Alright,
So,
I have a fun question for you.
yes.
Alright,
What's up?
so I think both of us can be easily described as Square Enix fans and Capcom fans,
Oh, yeah.
and I think
I'm really more of an Enix fan. I'm just,
well,
I accept that Square puts out other stuff.
yeah, for the sake, we'll say they're combined, right? I
Sure, sure.
okay. So, which one would you like if we had to get rid of one of those publishers and their entire library from video game history, which one would you choose to keep?
I think, there's no way not to just answer this question personally. And I
I
think
want you to
personally,
answer it personally.
yeah. Personally, despite all of my love for, Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy, I gotta keep DMC and Bayonetta and like every good fighting game that I actually enjoy for the most part.
Bayonetta isn't,
Um,
Capcom, it's Bandai Namco.
oh yeah, that's true. That came
It
out
it
at,
exists it
from
exists
Capcom.
because of
Yeah,
Capcom, I will agree.
yeah.
But really, you're going
But
with
yeah, I can
Capcom.
do it.
Wow,
Yeah,
I thought we would differ here, 'cause I
no,
would say out of the 2 of us, you are more of the, like, Square Enix guy, and I am
yeah.
more of
Oh
the
no, I
Capcom
love a
guy.
JRPG.
But
But my blood is for action games, action and adventure. JRPGs, and recently, as with Claire Obscure gave us, FRPGs are all about adventure. Um, and so that's where I get that from. But Capcom gives me all of the action that I desire.
it's the only thing that makes me feel like a man sometimes is being Dante.
Yeah, yeah,
That's where I get my
exactly.
testosterone.
Yeah, and there is a good amount of testosterone in playing as Indiana Jones as well. Because as I said, like, it is a choice to go stealthy or not. In the earlier sequences, I don't not as many enemies have guns. I imagine that will change as the game goes on. Um, but when it devolves and you get caught or something like that, it is just a brawl, and it feels, as I said, like comparing it to the Chronicles of Riddick, it feels very good to brawl in this game.
What a segue. What a good segue.
Thank you.
Brought it all the way full circle.
Bam, bam, bam.
So, oh yeah, is it weird playing a T-rated Machine Games game?
No, no, because Indiana Jones feels like a T-rated franchise, I would say.
Yeah, 100% PG-13 minus
Yeah,
the melting faces, which they don't
yeah,
censor
exactly.
on
But
television,
yeah,
believe it or not.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't even think that. Yeah, like the melting faces, they're just so cartoonishly grotesque that they don't even register as gore, you know?
That could see it, that's fair. It's also, like, 80s, like, high Hollywood
Mhm.
budget gore, so, like, that's different because it never looks
Mhm.
real.
No.
Like, watching, like, even, like or Nightmare on Elm Street, like, the literal gallons of blood that come out of, like, the bed at one point, they don't censor that on TV
Yeah.
either, but they would if it was, like, anything else, like a real I don't wanna say a real horror movie, like a not super, like, high profile horror movie, that would be censored.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Alright, Jarvis.
Um,
Oh, go ahead.
well, real quick, on the score, it's, done by Gordy Hobb, who is basically has made a career, and I mean this, lovingly, made a career out of being a John Williams imitator for video games.
Oh,
Uh,
so he's probably
they have done,
Star
like,
Wars.
all of the Star Wars Battlefront, Jedi, Fallen Order, Survivor, Hunters, Indiana and the Great Circle. They even did the original, I don't know if you ever played this, Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings, 2009. Very horrible game.
The only Indiana Jones thing I have ever I've consumed 2 Indiana Jones products in my life. The aforementioned movie I watched, which was the first one,
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then in Disney World, they had a Indiana Jones, like, stage production they
Oh,
do.
it's so good.
That's the only 2 Indiana Jones things I've ever, really experienced in my life.
I
So
mean, so obviously you experienced one of them in a bad way, in the
sure,
way you consumed that. But
couldn't be helped.
I'm glad that at least you're able to consume the stage show,
Stage
something that not a lot of people get to see.
stage
Very
stage
neat.
show was pretty dope. I love, like, watching, like, stunts and stuff like that, so it was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Stunt performers.
Alright, so before we go on to our recommendations, you mentioned the Battlefront games. I don't know if you've seen
Oh
this.
yeah,
There has been
I
a resurgence of Battlefront 2 recently to where it's
we were both working on the same wavelength. Neither of us brought this up, but we were both thinking about it. So yeah, keep going in.
so I don't know where this originated. It probably is from some influencer that booted it up because they loved that game growing up, or not growing up,
I'll
but
tell you exactly where it's coming from.
please inform me.
Andor season 2.
Really?
Yep, it's Andor season 2. It gives you that grounded stormtrooper versus rebel vibe. And then I think I seen on a couple of the press tours just a lot of the actors and creators speaking up and being like, yeah, a sequel to Battlefront 3 would be amazing. Like, especially if we could get in there and do some of our mocap and all of that.
Oh, it'd be
So,
so
yep,
good.
that's exactly where it came from.
Because I
Another wonderful thing that Tony Gilroy, creator of Andor and Rogue One, has given to us potentially Battlefront 3.
so I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but on Steam, Battlefront 2 hit its highest peak players on Steam. Granted, this game
Hell
did
yeah.
not launch on Steam when it first came out. It was like an
No.
EA thing. So that's where most people
Yeah.
probably own it in console. But on Steam, it was like it became it got into the top sellers list and the
Yeah.
game was not on sale. It was like $50,
That's crazy.
right? So like there has been a massive push for it and hopefully we can
Did you
get
play?
uh
I mean, were you playing over the last week or
I
so?
haven't been. I
Oh.
went through my Battlefront 2 like get back into it phase after I played Battlefront 2 the originals on the Switch again. I was like, this is the worst way to play
Yeah.
Battlefront 2. Not that those games were bad. They just play awfully on the Switch with that controller.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes
I
sense.
went and played through it must have been like what a year or two ago whenever that came out. I went and downloaded Battlefront 2, had some
Yeah, I think
fun.
2003.
No,
Um,
the remasters.
yeah, I thought it was 2003,
You keep saying,
right
"Do you mean
around there.
2023?"
Yeah,
I
sorry.
was like, 2003 is about when the first one came out, yeah.
um, um, yeah, I got on sometime a couple times over the last week, and I was having a lot of fun. Yeah, matches were coming up really quick, not Marvel Rivals quickly,
Nothing is
which
Marvel
I
Rivals
also
quick.
got on. I don't know if you have done any Rivals this
I
weekend, but
have
Ultron
not since
is now
Ultron
in.
dropped, yeah. They nerfed
Oh
my
yeah,
girl
we got
Psylocke
to
to
get on.
death, apparently. Apparently, Psylocke became
Oh really?
non-viable, so I'm not like now I
Eh,
got
I'm sure you could still slay with her.
maybe, we'll
Listeners,
see.
Josh is pretty solid, gotta say,
I'm
with
Bronze
Psylocke.
3, watch out, everybody!
Watch out!
That's mainly because I only play with people who are on crossplay, so we can't do ranked.
Exactly. I think if I wasn't on your little rotation of rivals people, or rather if I was on the same console as you, or platform as you, we would probably, we'd be a solid bronze 1, maybe scratching
Maybe
silver
silver
3 at this
3?
point.
Ooh,
Maybe scratching it,
aim for the stars,
knocking at
huh?
that door. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't
No,
gotten back into Marvel Rivals. How is Ultron? My wife has been
he's very
playing, so
fun.
I've been hearing that's
He's
all she plays, so I've been hearing a bunch of, like, whining and boohooing about different characters.
Yeah, Ultron and Iron Man now have a team up that gives Ultron a like constant heal beam. So now most teams you'll see will always have an Ultron and an Iron Man. So now you're, drastically increasing the number of flyers that you're seeing right now.
I mean,
That's,
there's
upon initial release of Ultron. Um, but it's fun. He does a healed shield, a healed follow shield that goes on a big bubble around a character, and then anytime he applies a shield to himself, it shields everyone within that bubble. Very useful. It's not got a lot of offensive capabilities, but very neat character to play at this point. I love the way they keep varying up uh kind of the way that they present their new characters.
yeah, everything like, no one plays everyone plays so unique, which is crazy for how
Yeah.
many characters there are.
Yeah, I don't know when we're gonna get to that first character where it really feels like a duplicate. You could almost say that playing the Thing is like playing the Hulk, but
No,
yeah, like
other than that, they
everyone's got
both
a lot of unique
punch.
stuff.
Other than they both
Well, they both punch and they both charge. You use a lot of jumping in and out. And it's more a tactics type thing, but still, um, yeah, it's wild how many really intriguing characters they were able to come up with so far.
So, just one quick thing on the patch. I was nestled cozy in my bed trying to go to sleep, because I wake up at 6 a.m. like an old person. My wife, who
Yeah,
stays up
yeah.
late playing Marvel Rivals all night, came and got me out of bed so she could show me something, and it was her, like, showing me the updates they did to Luna's Snow. She can
Why?
because with headshots, she can 4 tap a tank.
Well, yes, but why did she feel the need to
Because she's
wake you
like,
up
"This is
with it?
so ridiculous," and I was like, "Uh-huh." I'm
Well,
sorry.
maybe she should, main a better support. Just telling you, Kenzie,
I mean,
our number 1 fan and our first fan and listener, our biggest supporter.
she plays, Invisible Woman. I mean, I play Luna Snow when I have to heal, so that's great for me. So I'll take it.
Exactly.
But is there anything else you wanted to bring up before we move on to recommendations?
Nope, still just been also playing, Warriors Abyss, which is kind of like a roguelike slash, survivors version of, Dynasty Warriors slash Samurai Warriors, and, it's very fun.
Yeah, I still need to play that. Is that the actual Dynasty Warriors one, or is that one that's like it?
Yes.
Yeah,
No, that is actual, like, branded Dynasty
I
Warriors.
need to.
Warriors
I
Abyss.
need. Is it on mobile or is it only on console?
No, I don't think so. I think it's only on console.
Okay, because
It
I
gets
love
not,
those.
like, super intensive, but kind of intensive.
'Cause I love Vampire Survivors for me was a treadmill game. While I'm doing my like 20,
Yeah.
30 minutes like on my treadmill at the gym, I would just be sitting there just doing Vampire Survivors.
Yeah,
I
that game is literally perfect on mobile.
until you almost fall off of a treadmill, but then it's not so great. So I need to remember that. I like you've mentioned it multiple times. I remember seeing the trailer when it got announced, telling you about it, and then I
Yeah.
promptly never picked it up, and you did. So I need to make sure I
Yep.
get that. And also, while I have it on the brain of other things that I'm playing, I've been playing a lot of old Spider-Man games, as I've probably been telling you about. But
Yes.
I
Yeah.
recently released my video on my main channel at Josh494 about Spider-Man on the Game Boy. So if you had an OG Game Boy, highly recommend going to check out that video and like let me know what you think. I'd really appreciate it. But for now, we're done talking about fucking video games because they're stupid and we don't like them. Amen, Jarvis?
Boo, I hate that nerd shit.
Hell yeah. We are going to talk about the real world and real things. So
Yeah.
because life isn't all about fucking video games. So, Jarvis, what's your real ass real thing you want to recommend today?
Yeah, my real ass real thing that I want to recommend is a 2021 superhero fantasy movie based on a 70s kind of semi Chinese exploitation Marvel's it feels less real as I keep talking. I'm going to break off from being real. It's a pretty fake nerdy thing. So it's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Dope movie.
Yeah, good movie. As I was saying, this is a superhero movie based on the Shang-Chi series from Marvel. Specifically, Shang-Chi in the comics is a street level Marvel superhero. And he kind of is that, but they also lean heavily into the mystic side of him in order to kind of make him feel separate because at this point in the MCU, it's basically just Shang-Chi and Doctor Strange that are really holding up the mystic side in terms of film power.
You know about you're
But the
missing
movie's
Wong.
great.
You don't forget about Wong. He's in everything.
I'm talking about actual like the names of movies.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
he'll get
Because
his own
Wong is
eventually.
in Shang-Chi as well.
And in
Uh
She-Hulk and
it,
like every other thing. And
yep.
I'm about it.
Uh So yeah, Destin Daniel Cretton was the director of this. Very good job. I'm glad he was given the reins for the recently announced, but forever known about Spider-Man Brand New Day movie. Despite the scary name, I think the movie's going to turn out really well in the hands of this because Destin also did screenplay touches with it. So kind of got a hand in every part of creating this movie and bringing this character to the screen. What could be a very, bad Eastern exploitation movie in the hands of, let's say like a 2000s director ends up being a really good, well done combination of, wuxia movies and also kind of modern long take action movies that you see out of like Indonesia, like the raid and stuff like that. The bus scene in this one is particularly great.
Which is the
That's
opening, by
got
the way.
yeah, well, not the very
It's like the
opening,
first
like,
five,
but
10 minutes, right?
yeah, it's early. Well, no, because the beginning of the movie is all the wuxia stuff of his
Oh yeah, I
dad,
forgot about
Wen
that.
Wu. Yeah, but it is the opening kind of into his character, into Sean, known as Shang-Chi. Uh, but yeah, it's got your boy Clev, and he's so good in it. But yeah, like I'm not gonna surprise anyone. This is not like a very hidden gem or anything. But yeah, it's just I rewatched it again the other day. It's so good. I love Aquafina in this. I love her relationship with Sean or Shimu Liu. Wong's in it. You literally can't go wrong with having Wong. And
Can't go wrong with Wong.
yeah, exactly.
Ex-
But yeah, I love it.
I want.
Michelle Yeoh, and I can never remember the name of the actor that plays his dad, Wenwu.
I
It's
can't
something
recall.
Leung.
So
Tony Leung. So good.
I watched that movie as a double feature.
Yeah,
I watched Black Widow into Shang-Chi. Black Widow was a movie. Florence Pugh
it
being
has
a
a lot of
stand-up.
really good character
Yeah,
stuff.
great character stuff, boring movie. And then I
Yeah,
went right into Shang-Chi because they're both on Disney Plus, and I was trying to stay up all night so I could make an airplane flight so I could get back
yeah,
home. And I ended up watching Shang-Chi, and yo, I was like,
that'll keep you up.
why did no one tell me about this movie, right?
It's so good.
Out of
Fucking
all the MC movies, no one talks about Shang-Chi, and it's
yeah.
literally like the second best
Well,
Dragon Ball Z movie ever made.
And the other thing is, Disney is partially responsible for that, for kind of trying to blacklist Shimu Liu because of some of his stances on Chinese politics. So they kind of hide him a little bit. But he was announced for the Doomsday movie, and they have said that a Shang-Chi movie, Shang-Chi sequel
Yeah, that was a mouthful,
is
wasn't it?
yeah, is in development. So I don't think it's getting buried or anything. At least hopefully
I
not.
hope
But
not.
yeah, also the reappearance of Ben Kingsley, reprising his Trevor Slattery, the
The
performer that played the Mandarin in Iron Man
Yeah, the
3.
way
So good
they
in
did
this
that's
movie.
such a long running, like, a long-term joke,
Yeah.
because I remember back when Iron Man 3 came out, and everybody's like, "That's," like, the Mandarin ended up being, like, random dude, right? Like,
Yeah, a
no one
random Caucasian
yeah,
guy.
no one liked that twist, right? Because the
No,
Ben Kingsley parts of that movie, like,
are the
are
best.
so good, but it
Yeah.
was a joke, and, it was, like, kinda funny, and then, like, Iron Man 3 ended kinda poorly, whatever. Still a decent it's
Yep.
an okay movie. But the way
It
they
is. It's better than 2, but not even close to being as good as 1.
no. But then he gets paid off more of that, in, like, a short mini series. It's, like, couple, like,
Yeah.
5-minute long videos of, like, about the Ben Kingsley Mandarin, and then it goes even further, and it pays it off into Shang-Chi, like,
Yeah.
about a decade after the first appearance. Like, that's some good long-term storytelling. Also, just
Very good.
creative visuals in that movie.
Oh yeah, very very fun. Yeah, because it really is like and it comes from the era of comics or Marvel comics specifically that we're talking about in the 70s, where a Shang-Chi story would feature Shang-Chi, a street level fist fighter, performing kung fu on a, I don't know,
Like, but
eldritch beast from a Lovecraftian den of horror.
yeah, he'd be fighting, like, Fing Fang Foom and
While
shit like that.
yeah, exactly. But
Deep cuts
no,
for
like he
non-comic
would
fans,
like
sorry.
literally fight Lovecraft
Y
beasts,
yeah.
and the movie ends with one of those things, and it's like, oh, okay, they really went for it on this one. I love it. Very fun movie.
Very fun. Easy recommend. So I also brought a
Yes,
movie for my recommendation. Uh,
nice.
so again, big horror fan, right? And I'm also I love horror comedies. Recently
Yeah.
on Netflix, they finally released a movie I wanted to see in theaters, but I missed it. A movie called Heart Eyes, which is
Okay.
a rom-com slasher movie where
Yeah.
it's just a romantic comedy movie about this. lady who works at an ad agency who's just her life's going so poorly. But there's like the handsome dude who comes from New York that's gonna come fix all the problems, and they butt heads, but they're really meant together. While the whole time there's actually this serial killer who comes out every Valentine's Day and kills couples, and they are not a couple, but they get mistaken for one by the killer,
Yeah.
and it's about them trying to survive the night. It's directed by Josh Rubin. For those of you who watch Dropout content, he is on there a lot. He's really good at sounds. He's very funny. Apparently, a really good fucking
Or if
director.
you've seen Werewolves Within,
Yeah,
the
y-
one of the top rated video game movies of all time,
maybe the best one.
despite being huh?
Maybe the best one.
Yeah, I think so, possibly, but most people would not associate it as being a video game movie.
Yeah, because it's based off a VR game, which was also based
Yeah,
off like a drama kid, like
a
improv game.
but yeah, it's just a social board game.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
uh, he is a really talented director. The movie is very funny.
Absolutely.
If you are not good with gore, maybe don't watch it because
Oh yeah,
there is like it's a horror movie and it
yeah.
doesn't blink. And the movie earned
This
its
movie
R
first and
rating.
foremost is a rom-com. Like number one, in its heart, it is a rom-com, but within that rom-com heart is gory and dripping and bleeding because when it tries to be something else, it becomes a really gory slasher.
And
And it's a very interesting like balance that he pulls off, which is kind of the same type of balance that he pulled off with Werewolves Within.
and it works. I mean, this guy needs to make
It
more
does.
horror comedy because he's got
Yep.
it down. It's a genre that I don't think is utilized enough.
No, absolutely not.
Uh,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, watch Hard Eyes. It's on Netflix. Very good time,
No excuse not to. Everybody has Netflix.
and it's sub 2 hours, which that's the best thing a movie can be nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Shang-Chi
Shang-Chi is not sub
is
2
not sub
hours.
two
No.
hours. That's a long one.
I think it's 2:15. It's not like super de duper long, but it's pretty long.
Yeah, I mean, short for a Marvel movie.
It does have, I will say this, for a Marvel movie, it has two semi worthwhile stingers. It's mid credits and end credit scenes.
I don't remember what they are. I'll have to look them up again.
I mean, I'll say it on here. I don't mind spoiling a 4-year-old MCU movie. The first is just Shang-Chi and and Katie getting pulled into a conference room with Wong, Captain Marvel, and Bruce Banner, and they're like, "Hey, activating those rings really activated something out in the world. We're gonna have to, keep an eye on that." So it basically just sets up kind of, oh, like he's part of the bigger universe now, which sets him up to be in Doomsday and all of that, and be a part of the Sam Wilson's Avengers without a Z. And then the other one is his sister setting herself up as the leader of the Ten Rings, um, like criminal dynasty. So like neither were a joke. Neither were like particularly like, oh my god, like this is so groundbreaking and amazing. But they both at least added to
They
like a
further the
continuing
story,
story.
and neither has been paid
Yeah.
off yet in the
Yeah.
slightest of way.
Nope.
But
But hopefully we'll see that more.
please, please, more Shang-Chi. Make him
Yep.
the breakout thing. 'Cause I know they're moving away from like Danny Rand in like Marvel Comics. Like I think he died
Yeah.
recently, and now like Shang-Chi is. I think he's kind of taking the place as Iron Fist.
I don't think it's Shang-Chi. I think it's the same character that plays him in Marvel Rivals.
Is it not Shang-Chi in Marvel Rivals?
No.
No.
Shang-Chi is still just Shang-Chi.
Oh, no shit. I didn't know.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Just to settle this on call.
Yeah,
Oh, God, there's so many
while you look,
things.
because I know they are moving away from Danny Rand right now because
Yeah, they absolutely are.
even though there are some good runs as Danny Rand as Iron Fist, it looks kind of bad in a modern light. Like, yeah, you can get away with white man goes and learns kung fu from Asian country and then fights monsters with it and people with it, but
Yeah.
it looks a little weird in like 2020, like when his like
Lin Lie.
Lin Lie. That's the new guy
Yeah, that's the current new Iron Fist.
in the comics as well?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I need to catch up on some comics. But before I do that, I need to close out the show so I can let these people go, let you go, Jarvis. I know you have things to do.
And not really. I'm going into a weekend. I can go all night. What do you say, folks? 4-hour show?
Oh, please no, because
Crickets.
yeah, crickets indeed. That's gonna be all for us here at the Pixel Pickers. Just a reminder, you can find us on Spotify and YouTube, depending on where you're listening to it from right now. If you are on Spotify, please leave a review, and you can also comment on Spotify. Let us know what you think about all these new exciting games we talked about. Because I know Jarvis has been playing Elden Ring Night Rain, but is not ready to talk about it yet.
Yes.
Hasn't had enough time.
No.
And also, coming up this week, Jarvis, on the 6th, I'm very excited, is Summer Game Fest. So basically,
Oh, yeah,
it's
that's true.
E3. Uh, is there anything you're hopeful for that you just like? What's your
No,
dream?
I go in pretty blind on these, and then I start doing my research afterwards.
That and I live text you my reactions usually. If I think there's
This
something,
is
if
true.
there's something cool, I'm like Jarvis, you need to look at this because
Yeah,
I
I don't think there's gonna be anything necessitating us kind of, doing any sort of live stream or anything on the channel this time, but, we'll see as events come up in the future if maybe we wanna do that, but I don't think we will be for Summer Game Fest,
maybe not.
just because it's also so broad.
It is broad, but they're fun. I enjoy
They
them.
are, yeah.
And they're a lot faster than the Game Awards, which are like 4 hours long. Whew, man,
Yeah.
some Game Awards long, long. But yeah, so you can talk to us about what you want to see at the come not the Game Awards, at Summer Game Fest, coming out on the 6th, a couple days after this episode releases, about 2 days after. If I can do math right, I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure, that's math. And yeah, subscribe to see more. But as always, my name's Josh. That's Jarvis.
And I'm Jarvis.
Oh, and what do we always say,
It's
Jarvis?
dangerous. It's dangerous to go alone. Take us.
Bye.
Bye.